Hello, I'm Tina. Welcome to practice. Today we're going to be doing some work for our core, so our deep tummy muscles and our glutes. So if you'd like to join me, we're going to start by lying down on the mat, feet hip width apart, checking that it's the back of the head, making sure you're not jutting the chin up, and just rest the hands and arms down by the side of your body, and then bring your awareness to your breath. The air flowing in and out the nose. You're more than welcome to close your eyes or just soften the gaze. And then slowly start to deepen the breath. And then bring your awareness to your pelvis. Are your hips level? Is your lower back pushing down towards the floor and tilting the pelvis? If so, just gently level out the hips. Is your lower back overly arched? If it is, just slowly come back. So you just got that natural curve. So I'm going to place the heel of my hands on my hips, point my fingertips down towards my pubic bone. My thumbs are touching, and I'm just going to check to make sure my pelvis is in neutral. So the lower back isn't overly arched or overly curved. And then just bring the focus back to the breath, breathing wide and full. In through the nose, out through the nose. And then slowly float the right foot off the floor so the right knee is in line with the right hip. Slowly float the left knee off the floor so the left knee is in line with the left hip. Placing the hands on top of the knees. Hip circles, we're going to slowly circle the knees out and in. Mobility for the hips. Working with your own natural breath pattern. And then slowly change direction. Slowly float the right foot down, the left foot down. Check that the pelvis is in neutral. Gently draw the lower ribs in towards the center line to engage your core. A few breaths here with that core activated, checking that you're breathing wide and full. And then slowly lift the head, place the hands underneath the head, interlace the fingers, elbows point up towards the ceiling, elbows point up towards the ceiling. Back of the head resting against your hands. Check that the core is activated, pelvis in neutral. Inhale, as you exhale, slowly curl up for your abdominal curls. And as you inhale, slowly curl down. Exhale, curl up. Inhale, curl down. Exhale, curl up. Inhale, curl down. Exhale, curl up, checking that you're not doming the belly. Curling up. 2 more, if I'm counting correctly. 1 more. Slowly curl down. Release the hands. Maybe hug the knees in. Maybe stay still, or maybe a gentle roll from side to side. Slowly place the feet back down towards the floor. Check your base, check that the pelvis is neutral. Slowly lift the head, place the hands underneath the head, press the head into the hands, elbows point up towards the ceiling. This time we're going to do our abdominal curl ups with a rotation. Activate the core, so draw the lower ribs into that center line. Check that you haven't tilted the pelvis. Inhale, as you exhale, curl up and a nice easy rotation, maybe half an inch to an inch. Come back to center, slowly curl down. Exhale, curl up, rotate, back to center, curl down. Check that you're not doming that belly as you curl up, rotating to the right, back to center, curl down, curl up, rotate, back to center, inhale, curl down. Exhale, curl up, rotate, back to center, curl down. Check that you're still breathing wide and full. Center, rotate, center, curl down, and check that your core is still activated. You're doing really well. One more on each side. And then release, and then slowly crawl to one side, whichever side feels comfortable for you, and then slowly come all the way up to a tabletop. Once you're in your tabletop, just set your base, checking that you're spreading the fingers wide. Shoulders are stacked over the wrists, knees are underneath the toes, a lovely long spine. Check that that pelvis is in neutral. Neck is in line with the rest of the spine, so you're not dropping the head down. Activate the core. Breathe wide and full here. Keep the length in the spine. And then squeeze the left glute. Float the left knee off the floor. Flex the foot. Check that the hips are level. Slowly float the left knee down. Squeeze with that left glute. Slowly raise it down. These are your glute raises. Checking that you're breathing wide and full. Check that you're not bringing that leg up too high. Hips are level. Two more. Squeeze. Slowly lower. Squeeze. Slowly lower. Set your base. Glute raises on the right side. So squeeze that right glute, activate the core, so draw the lower ribs in to the center line. Squeeze, glute raises on the right. Check that the hips are level. Checking that you're breathing wide and full, nice deep breaths. Two more. One more. And then tuck the toes, just walk the hands all the way back to the knees. You can sit on the back of your heels or kneeling. Bring the palms together, interlace the fingers, and just circle out the wrists. Change direction. Maybe give the hands a shake. And then again, calm down, set your base. Lovely long spine, pelvis is in neutral. Spread the fingers wide, shoulders are over the wrists. Activate the core. You can stay here and keep breathing wide and full. I've got my toes tucked, and then I'm gently going to raise my knees off the floor, about half an inch. Checking that the shoulders are over the wrists, hovering the knees off the floor. Breathe wide and full. Keep drawing the lower ribs in to activate the core. And then slowly lower the knees down. Maybe shake the hands out if you need to. From here you can stay in tabletop, or you can just bring the knees back slightly and come into your 3/4 plank or extended tabletop. Check your base. Draw the lower ribs in. Hold that here. Toes can be tucked or feet can be flat on the floor. Breathe wide and full. Coming into a modified side plank on the right side. So slowly roll over onto the right. Keep drawing the lower ribs in. checking that the right shoulder is in line with the right wrist. Just take your time, making little adjustments. Open out. Check that the glutes are activated, lifting up the right hip. So you're feeling this here in the right side waist. You can stay here or reach the left fingertips up towards the ceiling and just gaze down at the floor or just gaze down at your mat. Just keep the neck nice and relaxed. Keep breathing wide and full. And on your next exhale, slowly release the left hand to the floor, the left knee touches the floor. Activate the core, rolling onto the left, a modified side plank on the left, taking your time with your setup. Left shoulder, left wrist, making sure you're rolling back. Activate the glutes. Reach the right fingertips up towards the ceiling, just relax the neck, maybe gaze down at the floor or gaze down at the mat. Breathing wide and full. And on your next exhale, right hand comes down, the knee comes down, just slowly bring the knees back to your tabletop. From here, extend the right leg out nice and long, check that the hips are level, check that the core is activated. Float the right toes off the floor. Again, check that the hips are level, core's activated, breathe wide and full. Option to stay here or to slide the left hand out, maybe come up onto the fingertips, maybe float the fingertips off the floor, or slowly raise the fingertips off the floor, lengthening out the arm, lengthening out the leg, flex that back foot, holding it here. Keep squeezing that right glute, looking down towards the mat so the neck stays in line with the rest of the spine. And on your next exhale, release down, come back to tabletop. Swapping sides. Activate the core, slide the left leg out, check that the hips are level. Raise the left toes off the floor, hips are level, core's activated. Slide the right hand out, check that the hips are level, up onto the fingertips. Stay here or float the fingertips off the mat, or raise the arm up. We're aiming for length rather than height. Squeezing with that left glute, check that the hips are level, that the core's still activated. Breathing wide and full. As you exhale, slowly come back to tabletop, tucking the toes, slowly walk the hands all the way back to the knees. You can sit on the feet, stretching the heels, stretching out the feet. Bring the palms together, just circle out the wrists. And maybe stretch up nice and tall, have a little wiggle. Give those hands a shake. Come back to tabletop, set your base. Core's activated. Options to come to your 3/4 plank, checking that the pelvis is in neutral. You're not dipping that belly to the floor or overly arching that lower back. Option to stay here, and then we'll lengthen one leg, then the other leg. The other option is to come into plank with both knees off the floor, and then from here you'd activate the core, tap one knee to the floor and then the other knee to the floor. So decide what you're going for, whether you're going to stay in 3/4 plank and do one knee raise and then the other knee comes off the floor, or whether you're coming into your full plank. When you're ready, and on your exhale, left knee taps or straighten, right knee, left knee. Check in with the breath, check in with the core. Is that pelvis staying neutral? You're going to keep going, working at your own pace and with your own breath pattern. If you need to rest, come down to the knees. One more each side. And then slowly come down. Give those wrists a shake if you need to. Modified side plank on the right. So activate the core. Roll onto your right side, checking the right shoulders in line with that right wrist, checking that the core's activated, open out, glutes are activated. You can stay here, you can reach your right fingertips up towards the ceiling, check that that neck's nice and relaxed. I'm gazing down towards the mat. And then you have the option of floating the left foot off the floor. Hold it here, breathe wide and full. And breathe and smile. And on your next exhale, that foot comes down, the left hand comes down, slowly come all the way back. Set your base, side plank onto the left, so I'm rolling over onto my left side, checking my base, shoulder over the left wrist, opening out, core's activated, my glutes are activated, raising that leg off the floor. You can reach your right fingertips up towards the ceiling, relax the neck, or you can just stay here, your choice. Just check in to see how you're feeling today. Breathe and smile. And then your next exhale, slowly come all the way back down, crawl yourself back to tabletop. From here, activate the core, extend that left leg out nice and long, check that the hips are level. Maybe stay here or extend the right arm out, floating the foot and the hand off the floor, check your base, check that you're staying nice and still. And on your next exhale, allow the toes and the fingers to tap the floor, slowly come up, squeezing with that left glute to raise that left leg off the floor. Keep going, checking in with the breath. And this time, hold it here, keep the length, check the hips. Squeezing that left glute. One more inhale. As you exhale, slowly come back to tabletop. Maybe give those wrists a little shake if you need to. Check your base. Scoop up and in. Extend the right leg out. Check that the hips are level. You can stay here or slide out the right arm. So left fingertips are off the floor. Right toes are pointing down towards the floor, my hips are level, my core's engaged. Breathe wide and full. And you have the option now as you exhale, lower the fingertips, the toes to the floor, squeeze up, making sure you're squeezing with that right glute to raise that leg up and down. Last one, hold it here, check that the hips are level, keep breathing. And then slowly come back to tabletop. Walk the hands back towards the knees. Bring the palms together, circle out the wrists. Maybe reach the fingertips all the way up to the ceiling, maybe have a little bit of a wiggle if you need to. Slowly release the arms. Your options now. You can extend the right arm and use the left hand to help flex that hand, the right hand. And then you can swap over and do the left. Or you can come back to tabletop and then turn fingertips to face the knees. If your knees are a little bit close to the fingertips, it takes some of the pressure off. Or you can come back so the knees are underneath the hips. Whichever one feels comfortable for you. So we're just stretching out down those forearms. And then slowly give them a shake. Slowly come to a nice easy cross-legged, sit up nice and tall. Place the fingertips to the side of your body. Reach the left fingertips all the way up to the ceiling. And then side bend over to the right. So we're stretching out the left side of your body, and then just allow the right ear to drop down towards that right shoulder. Eyes can be soft, or you can just close your eyes if that feels more comfortable for you. Inhale all the way back up. Reach the right fingertips all the way up to the ceiling. Side bend over to the left, open up the right side of the body. Just release that ear down towards the shoulder. Eyes can be closed or just soften the gaze. And then slowly come all the way back up. And then from here, place the hands on the back of your thigh, sit up nice and tall, draw the lower ribs in. If you have any issues with your back, we're coming down to lying, so you can just crawl down on one side, but if not, you're just going to roll down vertebrae by vertebrae, all the way down towards the floor. And then just slowly bring those knees in towards your chest, either stay here, or just slowly rock from side to side. Float the feet down towards the floor. Extend the legs out nice and long, and if it feels comfortable for your arms, extend them above the head. Nice full body stretch. And then just release the arms down by your side. Bring your feet out wide. And then just come into a final relaxation. You can stay here for as long as you like, or just for a few breaths. Thank you very much for joining me in this practice. I hope you enjoyed it. And now just rest.